Bills are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock.
Polo to the flow though, you already know though. It's Adamville for real, you see ya, just take a photo. I'm reppin' as on photo with a oh yo bro though, blow that dodo, thought that he could.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Oh no, also Allen Temple, also England Mountain, also Misty Valley, and I got a couple yesterday out of Cali. Am I bad from the valley? Bought me brand new balance. Better play it with a no American dream, dusty road. Man, she been ride.
The Bills are now on the clock.
In every hole, telling every I ain't with my wife, but if she meet her, might be a go. Rick flat, flashy. Don't I look dashy? Don't I look classy? Don't act so sassy. I'm the man, boo. That's with or without you. With what your say. Show me what that.
I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it's lonely at the top, but this the best. Hey, don't you see me out here shining, barely flexing. I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it's lonely at the top, this the best. And even if we die today, gon' live forever. Live forever.
Daddy Patsy with 3 S's. The S's, no S's on my chest, but all these diamonds got me blessed. Usually I don't do this. Dumb it down.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Counting M's, my bank accounts on Goofy. Say, gave up. Now who know what the truth is? Chicago full of, my garage is full of hoops. This got that southern drawl and all that. My like ball bags. The South got something to say, and all y'all can't get y'all ball back. If I ain't a hot boy, then what do you call sacks? Daddy fact, y'all never ball back. Like clocks in the wintertime, we stay eating like it's dinner time. Been feasting and feasting big, but it ain't no rhyme. We don't know the meaning of drought, cause we keep it so wet, boy, I swear now it's been a while. Just speaking in general, boy, there is no formidable opponent or at that bone, never step on it. When you wanna mind the kind of giving hope when they down and out. Dig a hole so deep, ain't no climbing out.
Yeah, I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it's lonely at the top, but it's the best.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it's lonely at the top, it's the best. And even if we die today, don't live forever. Live forever.
All right, now that the pick's in, let's go to Adam. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
A skilled running back with a nose for the end zone, his draft stock got a shot in the arm after setting a team record for single-game rushing touchdowns. He's a unique mixture of speed, power, and agility, reminding some draft experts of Emmitt Smith. Sources I spoke with absolutely love his linebacker mentality, refusing to go out of bounds and taking on defenders in hopes of extra yards wherever and whenever possible. He should see immediate action in the preseason and compete for the starting spot.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though, ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this and born like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this with new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate. Then off your head. This that put the kids to bed. This that I got realness. I just killed this 'cause it's in my DNA. I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA. I got dark, I got.
All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
In a league where schemes like the Tampa 2 are prevalent, you have to be able to play zone coverage, which was a concern for him at one point. He played mostly man and press in school, so there wasn't any tape of him in zone for scouts to review. When he came to the combine, the big test was to see how he moved in drills like the speed turn and 3-cone. He did enough in those drills to convince scouts that he could be depended on in a cover 2 scheme. Now he has the benefit of being familiar with most of the coverages that NFL defenses run. His versatility can make him an asset on the field, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this team move him around a lot.
Boosters, ballers, dead, redemption, scholars, fathers, kids, and I wish I was fed forgiveness. Yeah. Soldier's DNA, born inside the beast. My expertise checked out in 2nd grade. When I was 9, on sale motel, we didn't have nowhere to stay. At 29, I've done so well, hit cartwheel in my estate. And I'm gon' shine like I'm supposed to, antisocial extrovert. And excellent meaning extra work. And absentness, you hurt. And passiveness never struck my nerve. And that's a riff gonna be this case. The reason my power's here on earth. Salute the truth and the prophecy. I got loyalty, got royalty inside
This is
my
why
DNA.
I say that hip-hop has done more damage to young African-Americans in recent years.
I live about my DNA. This is my heritage, all I'm inheriting. Money and power, the maker emeritus. Tell me something, you can't tell me nothing. I'd rather than to listen to you. My DNA not for imitation. Your DNA an abomination. This how it is when you in the matrix, dodging bullets, reaping what you're sowing, stacking up the footage, living on the go and sleeping in the villa, sipping from a Grammy, walking in the building, diamond in the ceiling, marble on the floors, beaches out the window, peeking out the window, baby in the pool, Godfather goes, only Lord knows, I've been going hammer, dodging paparazzi, through the cameras, eating $4, Brock wearing sandals, yoga on a Monday, stretching to November, watching all the snakes, curving all the fakes, phone never own.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Money, these are the breaks, these are the times. Level number 9, look up in the sky. Tennis on the way, sentence on the way, on the way. I got winners on the way. You ain't without a on your belt. You ain't without a ticket on your plate. You ain't sick enough to put it on yourself. You ain't rich enough to hit the ladder skate. Tell me when destruction gonna be my fate. Gonna be a fate, gonna be a fate. Peace to the world, let it rotate. Money, DNA.
You know, I'm like, yeah, nice P, you know?
What up, Pig?
Man.
La música de Harry Fraud.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Man, you don't want with them, bro. Oh, you, and it better get low. Extorting, you ain't got no friends. Oh, they'll be with that like a Chanel scarf like rainbow.
The Packers are now on the clock.
This ain't your cloth. You ain't.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
I can see the noodles made for poodles. I'm thinking about the LaFerrari coupe. 1.8, the option is the roof. Greens is a secret to the youth. Your goals are malnourished. Please spit the juice. Y'all be vaping, I be laden. Yes, y'all be aping. I'm Richard Mill Nation. No diamonds, just tourbillon facing with gears and sprockets with the sapphire casing.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close.
The Jets are now on the clock.
let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
The Vikings are now on the clock. Vikings just made their pick. Adam, what can you tell us about him?
He had an average day at the combine, but something a few different scouts pointed out was his lack of speed in the 40. He ran an average time for an offensive lineman, but the big area of focus for guys his size is the first 10-yard split. It took him almost 2 seconds to get out of his stance and across the first 10 yards. This is a good measure of how quickly a lineman can get out of his stance and get downfield. Looking at what he did at Indy, there's some concern as to how fast he can get to the second level while run blocking. This is an area where improvement can be difficult, but we'll see how he does it for his team.
Alcatraz bars, crash cars, ain't no future in front. My homies rip your mask off.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Rather you than me. If you've been with me from Port of Miami, it's been a journey. Ain't nothing changed. A little stronger, a little wiser. Maybe a little more. Blame it on America. I'm pulling off the lot, I bought the cash. Whoa.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Whoa. We looking good inside the whoa. But I noticed that she missing all the edges. Whoa. I run the game just by running with the whoa. Poor attitude, they got rich calisthenics. Whoa. Walking in the courtroom, sipping on the beverage. Whoa. I know the judge, so I got a lot of leverage. This is fetish. Fully loaded on the 7. Your dog get a dime, you never wrote a letter. Whoa. Still in the box, gotta rap in acapella. Whoa. Kim Treasure, people with the weapon. Whoa.
The Packers are now on the clock.
Whoa. He knocking on the door and know the password. Gave me his blessings while I'm hotter than the last verse.
Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead presidents, dead presidents. Let's go, all my little military. Let's go, I'm innocent. Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead presidents, dead presidents. Feds. Let's go, I'm innocent. I got that like Tommy Lee. I make money. On my third page.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
I got at the airport. I got bowling green dollars on my dollars. Busting down 100 in the bathtub. Get some house shoes. I got money. I got war wounds. Get the coaching on that. Ain't no dance moves. I was posted on the stoop, hanging with my Haitians. On the news, on front pages. Ain't no relations. I was stacking being fresh and bustin'. 2 times in a row, that's a repeat. You end up, cause they easy. I'm in the breezy. She love me like she need me. I got my Maybach flooded out with extra TVs. I make her pick up every single day. I judge a vulture when I flip the paddock face. Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead presidents, dead presidents. Let's go, all my little military. Let's go, I'm innocent. Dead presidents, dead presidents.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Dead presidents. Feds. Let's go, I'm innocent. Hands on me, got the yellow brace. Check off in my pocket like the yellow paste. Was what I was asking. Low facility.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Yeah, that was my state of mind. Yeah, that was my state of mind. Keep the blocks over there, we call it Lego Land. Meanwhile, it's like it's Amsterdam. Boy, fresh, you know who got the trophy. 16 when I bought my first rollie. Legend in my hood, just like a never ride in the extra car. Dead president, dead president, dead president, dead president. Let's go, on my little military. Let's go, on innocent. Dead president, dead president, dead president, dead president. Feds. Let's go, on innocent.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
I done came up, busting down the whole.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Bunch of people swag, ain't even gotta ask. What are those with his dad? Please don't touch my rap. Please don't touch my rap. I'm racked up like rappers. I'm wrapped up on camera. Get out on camera. Squeeze like asthma. It's rare wrath when I wear wrath. Bare wrath when I wear wrath. Might invest into some rap shit. Lord, still shit rap. And I'm dripping on rags. Rick gonna be the tag. Through the digital dash. Yeah, I'm boasting, never brag. Please don't touch my rap. Or the Chris Van Nash. Alessandra Gucci glasses. The W Anderson collab. Yeah, you probably like it. Yeah, you drop it on the. I'ma buy another. Cut the boys, bring it back. Yeah, you know how to make it last. Plus and keeping tabs. I'ma fly first class.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Please don't touch my rap. Don't step on my Ralph Simmons. Don't step on my Ralph Simmons.
Pick's been made. Let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about the player.
He was always a player who cared about academics, and that couldn't have been made any more clear when he decided to forego his senior season in order to take on more classes. His goal was to graduate before entering the NFL draft, and at the sacrifice of his final year of football eligibility, he was able to pull it off. The decision left some experts scratching their heads, but guys like Matt Miller saw it as a smart move to stay injury-free and remove the distraction of getting his diploma once he went pro. At least with the degree, he has a backup job now in case this whole football thing doesn't work out for him.
Feel like Darth Vader. I'm a boss, you know I might riff it. Right in my basement. Yeah. But you know that I'm gon' face it. Wait, that's the reason that they mad. Color Uzi, yeah, he made it. Yeah, I would that rapper, I made it. Yeah, I would that rapper, I made it. Yeah, got that rap all in my basement. Yeah, once I got patience. Yeah, I'm famous. Yeah, put myself inside Mark Jacob. Hey, making a place with my label. I get it, I count it. 100 on my table.
Let's go to Adam Schefter now, who's got more to say about the Browns' latest pick.
A torn Achilles tendon almost dashed his NFL dreams, but through pure determination and will, he found a way to rehab and impress scouts at the combine. He was able to make strong cuts and doesn't look as if he's lost any speed as a result of the injury. Even with the success he's currently enjoying, there's significant concern about him doing too much too fast. Count on this training staff continuing his rehab to make sure he's at 100% before he sees the field. He's a significant investment, and I can't see them rushing him back until he's truly ready.
Spring summer 2002. Yeah, please don't touch my ride. In the grass, Teddy, with the Teddy. Quick with the hands ready. Please don't touch my. Please don't touch my ride. Shirt off, I'm Cam, ready. That's stock in memory. Please don't pop my tie.
Man, too broke to pay attention. Man. Yeah. Man, listen. All I got is this ambition.
The Texans are now on the clock.
They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. I'm like, man, listen. All I got is this ambition. A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. The game is friendless, the pain is endless. The game changed, I blame these lame pretenders. My friends and Benzes parked at the entrance. Inside, you still hear the engine. Like, ren, this is your ending. If you're offended, I dare you defend it. This is rushing through my blood like the Kremlin. I'm back with a vengeance, and this is what the sound of revenge is. Win-win, man, listen. All I got is this ambition. A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. I'm like, man, listen. All I got is this ambition. A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. Where I come from, you can't visit.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
You understand different. Hand gestures counting till my hands blister. You can't miss us. Louder than Fran Drescher. Pinky rings, hand kisses, soprano. I feel like Paulie Castellano in designer stitches. I heard him say I made Rihanna. Mind your business. What kind of honor is this? I'm trying to see Madonna, all kind of riches.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Everybody acting kind of vicious. These politicians won't let my brother visit. I'm like, man, listen.
The Lions are now on the clock.
A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. I'm like, man, listen. All I got is this ambition. A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. He's a fake baller, globe trotter, bank account $4. No, come on, I know you wanna pop collars. I know you wanna pop collar. Top dollar, pull up in that top dollar. Yeah. She got that top dollar. Yeah. Man, listen. All I got is this ambition. A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. I'm like, man, listen. All I got is this ambition. A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it.
The Bears are now on the clock.
That's it.
Okay, I was gone for a minute, but I'm back now. Sit back down. Seem like everybody nowadays, Hollywood. Oh, it's like that now? I'ma show you how to act now. I'ma show them how to act. I'ma show you. I'ma show them how to act. Okay, now picture little Bobby, just a youngin' run around with his man's in his hands, feeling like a man. Run, put it to your brain like. Everybody know you ain't about it. Everything you talk about, I know I can live without it. Red light, stop, green light, go. Everything ain't what it seem like. I know. Hold up, what you mean? Where you been in? This is merely the beginning again. What you been living in? The box under the bridge, like Anthony Kiedis, looking for something to complete us and maybe lead us. A long way from equal is how they treat us. Body of a builder with the mind of a fetus. Turn on the television and see the vision they feed us. And I wish I could erase that. Face facts. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something. Everybody love, everybody know how it go. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something. Everybody love, everybody know. I've been knocking Joe down like it witness. God is my witness, I'm witness, but on the real I think I need another witness. If it was 17, black dad and white mama wouldn't change a thing. Light skin certified as a house. Go figure, in my blood is the venom master. It's like the devil playing space with the pastor. But he was born with the privilege. Man, what is that? People told me as a child, as a little boy playing with his toys, I should be ashamed. And some people look ashamed when I rap, like my great-granddaddy.
The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock.
Everybody talk about race this, race that. I wish I could erase that. Face facts. Everybody people, everybody
Everybody bleed, everybody needs something. Everybody love, everybody know how it go. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something. Everybody love, everybody know. Okay, I was gone for a minute, but I'm back now. Sit back down. Seem like everybody nowadays, Hollywood. Oh, it's like that now? I'ma show you how to act now. I'ma show them how to act. I'ma show you. I'ma show them how to act.
The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock.
Honorable C notes.
Yeah, low fish. I say, Lord, be my savior when it come to getting this paper. People take me from my haters. Just say me and I won't favor. Say amen. Amen, 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 yeah. Amen. That boys and they can't win. Can't win, can't win, can't win, can't win. Check. Going up. We in it, we gonna. Going up. Tell it like my persona. Going up. Living up was honest. We used to drive them Hondas. Now we pull up in the Fondas. Go up. Walk in. Show up. Baby, hold up.
Adam, what can you tell us about the Giants' newest player?
The key concern I've been hearing from several GMs is that he simply isn't in good enough physical shape to see significant action early in the season. Even with a full off-season of NFL conditioning, the feeling is that he will not be able to stay on the field every down and maintain that high level of play coaches want out of their guys. The game never slows down at this level. He's going to have to get in better shape if he wants to be an every down player. This is a kid who may eventually make an impact in the league, but it may take an entire year to get his body into the kind of shape needed to make an impact at this level.
She post up a MCM and we like that JoJo. When we out and we see him, he always asks for photo. I say, Lord, be my savior when it come to getting this paper. People take me from my haters. Just say me and I won't favor. Say amen. Amen, yeah. Amen. That boys and they can't win. Can't win. Check. Going up. We in it, we gonna.
with the fan up. All them, I got Santa. I go monkey. All that. Don't do just what I say. Pull up, fast as Uber in that race. She so bad, but she said. I feel guilty, I might as well just plead my case. I say, Lord, be my savior when it comes to getting this paper.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
And I won't ever say amen. Yeah. Bad boys and they can't win. Check.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
We gonna. Did it like my persona. Gonna. Baby, no was honest. We used to drive them Hondas. Now we pull up in the Fondas. Go up. Walk in. Show up. Baby, hold up. Go up. Boys, don't touch. We flow up.
I stay myself, I never change, yeah. Do whatever, get you paid, yeah.
Cause, but I still low. Got 100 different in my cell phone. Still 33 for low. Ride to my dog sitting in jail.
The Packers are now on the clock.
Spin it back, roll. I'm on Keller, I'm on Gresham, I'm on Flat Shore. I'm at Magic, I'm at Polish, let them go. Then it's right back to the when I'm low. Bars never close and we wide open. Kicking flavor with me, neighbor, yeah, we local. Rap the bottom, cause the bottom where we come from. Me no pray for little paper, need a lump sum. Real spill, yeah, I'd rather be, yeah. Broke, real, little rich. Fall in love with her. She just wanna be in VIP with her. Don't blame me, oh, they just shake me. Had to get it, how I got it on my phone to be. Don't blame me, I'm what the game made me, not what the fame made me. I won't let it change me, I'm the same, man.
Myself, I never change, yeah. Dirty sort of treat me like a stain, yeah. Do whatever, get you paid, yeah. Rolling from the cradle to the grave, yeah.
On my hood, on my block, yeah. On my, I won't stop, yeah. Play with me, I'll let it, yeah. Halo on me, Sailor Rock, yeah. Got me with the school, keep one, move, you my little baby boo, girl. I love you like my favorite color blue, girl. Real spill, yeah, I'd rather be, yeah. Broke, real, little rich. Fall in love with her, she just wanna be in VIP with her.
All right, team is now off the clock. Adam Schefter, can you tell us about their newest player?
He's a linebacker that wasn't particularly high on anyone's board coming into the offseason. But after the Combine and Pro Day, his name started getting circulated around draft circles as a potential sleeper in this class. And when I spoke to Matt Miller, he told me it wasn't really what he did, but what he didn't do that got everyone's attention. He finished either average or above that in every major test for a linebacker. What you get is a guy that can do everything asked of him and room to grow in several different areas. Coaches like guys in the middle of the field that they don't have to worry about taking out in certain downs, and he can provide that for this team.
On the sand, counting up the bills with my dominant hand. Yo,
choose up. Take this, appreciate it. This too. About to tear up the rim shot. I'm going global, coast to coast like my G.I. Joe present. I've yet to see a Cobra. So off my rocker, got me sipping club soda. Some bombs never go off.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Pitching in, never in the dugout. Reaching in my and I can't take a head count. Flashback, 03, things was looking rundown. Now I set foot in the place, it's a luau. Killing like 10 counts. Y'all know how we get down. House with the fence around. Y'all know that we en route. Transition from the Impala to the Fisker. I should charge admission for that to get the dessert. Left the doors up, now the Lambo has pigtails. Since you getting comfy, I'ma let you sit there. I'ma let you stay there. When I shed a tear, they didn't have no care. So I'ma charge retail. I brought some cause you say you want sick. If you love sick in the room, you best get well. Every dog has its day. What the no tuck. Sway Lee, Winter Magazine, double XL. Floss with your Gucci on. Dipped in colors burst on the cars and the jewels. I'm a wanted man. Seats looking like they got a spray tan. When I was without, not a helping hand. I got some guys that throw it back and make me drop the cans. I told Ben Frank just to drop a pin. I could let my fit go to the highest bid. Yes, I might drop in. It all depends. Junior high, I was dreaming of a 10. I'm coming clean though. I mean, not a spec. My girl be serving looks. I can the chef. Katana sword popping out my walking cane. I'm overseas, my Cali Bay like how was Spain. We getting to
The Jets are now on the clock.
shoes. I bought a and it came with a wetsuit. The Buddha left me with
The Browns are now on the clock.
I'm mooching off myself. She be hoping that I take a knee. Yes, I be open to that shrimp life. This is how we live, this is how we exist. Love the kicks and we love the hits. All in the house and I'm wrecking. If I sleep, I'm on record. I'm in my own world, throw the money up and make my own weather. Mommy playing, tether on leather. Money talk, it's a lecture. 80 pointers dance on me, it's electric. Don't hate, I'm still unaffected. Chipper on my shoulder, I move undetected. She said, pop the question got deflected. Man, them ain't my boys, them my brethren. Let's cut to the chase. It's only on the house when we in the place. My used to lava boys got it up in some flames. Stirring up the cup with my wrist souffle. Shaka Zulu chains with my name engraved. I told you on swing, don't say my name in vain.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
You rang? Spending all the money, then we watch it boomerang. With the Fendi belt, angry face like put some gold on my fingers, neck, and shoestrings. Long time no see, that's what they say when they see me, man. I've been going crazy just to stay sane. Hey,
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
young whippers,
The Steelers are now on the clock.
pause, then I went to range. Call that hottie on my stage. Long week, but a great day. So it got me like sage. And on me, you should get a raise. On me, yeah, you can hate.
Adam, what can you tell us about that last pick?
He's only been around the game of football for a few years, but when you look at his combine, you can see why he had so much success in college. This guy is pure athlete, and he looked faster than any of the other defensive linemen in the class. Matt Miller used his split times in the 40 and broad jump numbers to make the point that this kid has one of the fastest first steps of anyone in the class. He's the type of lineman that can get free from the block and be in the quarterback's face in an instant. He's a dynamic defensive lineman that can provide an immediate boost in production for this team's defense.
Like a beast in the jungle, in the heat of the rumble, I ain't got nothing to lose. Hey, I've been fighting these hard times in the ghettos of my mind. Now it's victory that I choose. Hey, yes, my soul is blessed, the king is born. My mind confess I'm a bad, bad man. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. Ain't no one
Ravens are now on the clock.
Like a bull in a glass house, no bull about to smash out. Can't nothing stand in my way.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
I don't care what the place is, from the penthouse to pavement. You better hear what I say. Hey, yeah. Yes, my soul is blessed, the king is born. Mama, I confess I'm a bad, bad man. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend, legend. 'Cause I've been down so long that my crown and all is destined. Ain't no one like me. I'm a legend, legend, legend. King is born. Yeah, I told you before. Yeah, a king is born. Been broke before, but I never been broken. I told you before. I am the truth now. The truth has spoken. A king is born.
The Colts are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock.
I've been rolling on the freeway, I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest, I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe.
LOV on my right leg, that's Gucci. Dig what I'm saying? LOV on my man, that's Gucci. Dig what I'm saying? Caught a little jet lag, but I'm golden. Yeah. We deserve Grammys and some Oscars. They deserve Whammies, they imposters. I be rolling with my project homies, it's a vibe. I just put the homie, it's a vibe. Over switch sides, it's a vibe. Yeah, yeah. I gon' do it, gon' do it, gon' do it.
The Giants are now on the clock.
I pull up in several different options that I would most ever.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
I make. Gotta be on the thinker. I say
the Patriots are now on the clock.
My toes, but ain't gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled.
I've been rolling on the freeway, I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest, I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe. I've been rolling on the freeway, I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger.
The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock.
Dig what I'm saying, Chanel drapes on me daily. Dig what I'm saying, sponsored by Mercedes. Dig what I'm saying, this creek alone is on me, baby. Dig what I'm saying, I'm going hard. Yeah. I pop in your memory. You should be glad I'm showing you sympathy. I gave you pure love out the gutter. Ever let you go, you gon' suffer from it. I gon' do it. I gotta accept that I'm a. I pull up in several different options that I would most ever. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make. Gotta be on the thinker. I say, what? I can't feel my toes, but ain't gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled. Yeah.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
I feel like I should be giving up. You can't leave it's too much. But I'm tired of you, me on. And I don't like where this is going. And I've been stuck in all your apologies. keys. Gave you my all, but you wanted more from me. Keep your love, it doesn't feel the same. I hope it hurts you when you hear my name. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, every day I'm shot callin'. I'm a spray, make it rain just to let you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just to let you know I'm ballin'. I'm a spray, make it rain just to let you know. Tell her hey to
The Jets are now on the clock.
yeah, I've been ballin' since like yesterday. Yeah,
The Titans are now on the clock.
all this money in the way. You know that I'm walking with the brain. Yeah, water, diamond on my ring. You know that I'm rockin', feel the blue. You know that yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, every day I'm shot callin'. I'm a spray, make it rain just to let you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just to let you know I'm ballin'. I'm a spray, make it rain just to let you know. Yeah, you cannot see me, the windows is tinted. Yeah, driving around right in that Bentley. Ay, you driving around right in that Bentley. Ay, but your shit, it should be rented. Ay, but that is none of my business. Ay, money won't stop me, go straight to the top. Believe it or not, just like in the same. Yeah, she know I'm a rock star. Looking at my chain, on my diamonds rock hard. Turned the way up, I ain't getting tired. And if you wanna race, then we gonna ride. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, every day I'm shot callin'. I'm a spray.
The Bills are now on the clock.
I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just to let you know I'm ballin'. I'm a spray, make it rain just to let you know.
The Texans are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock.
I heard he's always hating, said I'll never make it. I heard he's always talking with them.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm getting money. I heard he's mad at me cause he's on me. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm shining. They ain't seen it when I'm young, out here grinding. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. Either way, young, getting paid, yeah. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm poppin'. They don't wanna want some money in my pockets. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. Either way, a hater always gonna hate, yeah. Mad at me cause I'm tryna feed my I'm supposed to make it out and I don't bring my no way, no way, no way, yeah. They ones and they here to stay, yeah. I heard he's always hating, said I'll never make it. I heard he's always talking with them. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm getting money. I heard he's mad at me cause he's on me. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah.
I heard he tryna lie me, but I ain't no dummy. It's okay, though, got it, you really want it. I spent 13 16 on the ring and now I feel unlucky. Hey, she love my diamond ring, she said she wanna touch it. It's okay, I get dirty.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
Hit my Michael James. I get cake, I cannot complain. Been finessing since I was a kid in the second grade. Selling lemonade, get paid. Hold up, wait, can I get paid? Yawn in a break for like.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Snake, get paid. Get left every day, so get your straight.
I heard these always hating, said I'll never make it. I heard these always talking with them. It's okay.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
It's okay. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm getting money. I heard he's mad at me cause he's on me. It's okay. Mad cause I'm trying to feed my family. Why I gotta watch a friend more than.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Had to cut you off, you was on some dun. You was supposed to be my dog, why you hate on me? They say success, turn your friends to some enemies. It's crazy, cause it's shining, now you act shady. Yeah, but I guess it's okay. My mama told me you would show me your ways. Yeah, but I gotta check with him. I had the bands, pull up in the land. Diamonds on me look like I heard these always hating, said I'll never make it. I heard these always.
The Packers are now on the clock.
It's okay. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm getting money. I heard he's mad at me cause he's on me. It's okay.
You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? When I come round there like a bad boy, do it. Run all the talking, go on and do it. Running through the party, bottle up. Rolls in my ear saying storms, don't do it. Devil on my shoulder, I don't lack. Hitting with the business, I don't scrap. Even when I'm bar, I'm so easy ride, but there's no car and no match. What you talking about? Clown, stand down. Never had a thing, never had a pound. You were never bad then, you ain't bad now. Never had them, then look back down. Wait, I saw bare kicks, saw bare clothes. Said not that, I can't wear those. I don't like them, they're not my thing. They went silent, they're all weirdos.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Tom Ford or Montclair. Man, them I can't be, you see my don dare. Tell them don't do it, don't dare. Don't care who you know from my block. You're not Al Capone, they can take my car and my creps. I'll still do the road in my socks. Like who's gonna stop me? You, him, little man. I got blue slims. Don't be an idiot, move smart. I've been killing it, new king. You were never ready for my new stuff. You're a boy by yourself, go and group up. And when Crep went states for the BTs, I was covering Crep like a boot cut. If mad, it's a family thing, straight family thing. Dumb man, I broke no salary thing. Had a young thing called Amy telling me to come round hers on a Valerie thing. Hashtag Murky Academy thing. You were like art and the gallery thing. Dumb boy there wanna chat about bars, wanna chat about. You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, I'm too hot. I got money in my shoebox. I'm the man of the house when my show sold out like the brother from the Boondocks. Beat Swan on my boombox. Still meat from the stew pot. Man, I'm go sick when my tune drops. Little man, that's a hooplo, not a hoopla. What? Pronounce it right. I go Maggie, I'm down to die for this. I don't care, bro, I'm down. Man stressed, so I'm bound to lie my slips. Wait, I'm bound to ride for flips. Real G's gonna ride around to this. Man, I got no time to write at this. I never left my 9 to 5 for this waste man thing. I don't care what rave man's in. I came here to relax, but if it gets mad, make a young boy take man's things. Try to tell me I'm way too big to rebel. Nah, man, you're never too big.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
My lungs out rude, but you're never too big for Adele. Leave my yard, blow a kiss to my girl. Salute to my sister as well. Gotta keep trophies down at my mum's bit. Man, I'm getting way too big for my shelf. Man, I see bare MCs on the sideline, but I still got a couple bangs in the pipeline. Man, I got grown men at me. You're getting way too old for the timeline. You're getting way too old for a diss. Should've looked after your kids. Get out the booth, go home to your son. It's never too late to commit. It's like man love, put my name in a random flight, get a plane to Qatar. This year I learned how to take care of business. Next year I'll learn how to play the guitar. You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth?
I look up. So many. Oh my God. So many. I done made
The Vikings are now on the clock.
so many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. What you telling me? I sense the jealousy, I got telepathy, I got the recipe, I got the streets and I don't got no felony. Forward thinking, yeah, my mind is ahead of me. Mama said it's gonna be whatever you let it be. It's some homies I grew up with that's dead to me. It's some that I just made a debt to me. What's in common is they both pay respect to me. I get in my way from Friday to Friday. My girl is a mix of Aaliyah and Sade. I came a long way from that Marvin and I pull out the driveway like I'm in a car chase speeding. And if my she know I'm leaving.
The Rams are now on the clock.
No text, no call, but at airplane mode. Code, no P code, no time to change clothes. Same clothes, love if you living by the same code. G code, leave. You do that to me, back to my destiny. Penthouse, bird's eye view, that's a nest for me. I got myself out of debt, so when you see me, know you somebody I'll never need. Sacrifices. So many sacrifices.
The Jets are now on the clock.
So much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. I cut the drama out my energy. Focus on it, inner me, never on it, enemy. And I done sacrificed my own time. I done sacrificed my own mind. I done sacrificed the club life. I done sacrificed my love life. But I cut the drama out my energy. Focus on it, inner me, never.
The Bears are now on the clock.
I done sacrificed my own time. I done sacrificed my own mind. I done sacrificed the club life.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
I done sacrificed the thug.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Drop my top to get my mind right. Pull up in the Rari loud pipe. Them the dime, my wrist a Hyundai. Ooh, yeah, Gucci Python. Ooh, yeah, she play with her. Yeah, I bought that new charm. Pop on, I told her come see about me. Come on, come see me. The devil had entered my soul. My mama had beat the die. The devil, my mama. Remember my grandma had told me you better be somebody. Hop in my seats, massaging. Watch how I lead the posse. I made a M deposit.
Paid all these dues with the game. Yeah. Sacrifice your strides for that stain.
The Browns are now on the clock.
For that chain. She sacrificed that money for white. Left hand got 3 rings. That's brum. We up one. Bad, dear savage. Take her to the mall and buy her some. That's gonna wanna make your friends come. Make way with the timing. Tell me. Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? Why can't y'all recognize?
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Came from sacrifice. 10 toes, yeah, you gotta stay down, eh? Just some yawn, looking for a way out, eh? People watching, yeah, I gotta.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Hit my phone if you need a hold.
I done made sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices.
To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Great auntie was a slave. I could only imagine all the sacrifice.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Imagine all that she had to take. I'ma make sure all the she gave wasn't in vain. I sacrificed for your entertainment, boy. I'm Mr. Anderson in the Matrix. Check the last name, it's all facts. In the human race, it's all about pacing. Look at all the ones I outlasted. I'm the one at the end, like I count backwards. Never satisfied, details classified till the afterlife. Make a sacrifice down.
Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice?
I go out.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Squad. All I got is my word, and my word is my bond. Squad. Yeah. They gon' look at you different when you moving forward. But you stick to the code, you get yours, I get mine. Squad. Yeah, I go extra high for my entourage. Check my repertoire, Jim Jones. Everywhere I go, you know it's reppin' time, it's reppin'.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Set it off, set it off. If they sleeping on me, I'ma wake them up. They fakers. I really do. I'm kicking up, the rent is due. Plus I got my mama and my kiddies too, they growing up. Time is moving faster, what we wasting for, no holding back. Got a lot to prove I owe you that we all we got. I go out for my squad and I put that on squad. All I got is
the Seahawks are now on the clock.
Yeah, they gon' look at you different when you moving forward. Shoulders, but just stick to the code. You get yours, I get mine. I've been reflecting on how we got this far, even when the pressure's on, finessing strong. Plus I got my team around me heavy, ain't no extra bros. You can keep them. Giuseppe's on delusional. Who gon' be there for you if you lose it all?
The Lions are now on the clock.
Back your mama back. Think about it, it's so much more to life, take advantage. We gon' get this money, stack this paper, and be alright. We gon' run it, keep on finish on sight. I go out for my squad and I put that on squad. All I got is my word and my word is my bond. Squad.
The Bears are now on the clock.
They gon' look at you different.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
But just stick to the code, you get yours, I get mine. Squad.
The Saints are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock.
People tryna say I'm only enemy. Got a code with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Man, amen. Spent about 60 on the time, I can't even lie. No way in, no way out, do or die. So on roll, when I roll, must be. Amen, man.
I can't ride Benz, I don't do peace. I beast.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Saber tooth, tiger, diamond tooth teeth. Rockin' right now, won't you come peep? I was outside.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Shake your mouth wide. You need to say grace for your safety.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Man. What's left in my life, don't know what's in store. I've been dealing with these blessings that I can't ignore. Putting up the numbers, we ain't keeping score. Man, amen. I been on the block, my side. Run it in the house for us 12 o'clock. Yeah,
the Redskins are now on the clock.
Amen. Amen.
I just three, I don't do sleep. Yeah, tryna see. UV. Yeah, we gon' fall through.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, packed it from the south, moved it to the west. Iced the logo on the cross, threw it on my neck. Yeah, when I rep the set, gotta stay blessed. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. People tryna say I'm on the enemy. Got a cold with my dogs, can't get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Amen. Amen.
Man, put him into me. Everybody try to take the identity. Everybody.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
I cannot let it get into me. This playing a toll on me, meant to me.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Yeah, pulling up with the crew.
Oh my goodness.
Must have done same with the roof.
Oh my goodness.
You sitting looking stupid on the stoop.
Oh my goodness.
I would take notes if I were you.
Oh my goodness.
This was designed.
The Packers are now on the clock.
So we know true north.
Oh my goodness.
Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw.
Oh my goodness.
The law, it's a shame, rhyme. Crime. It's a shame they let us jump out of Bentleys with dirty vans. Hit the stage for 15 minutes, get 30 bands. Swiss bank counting clean money with dirty hands. With some hood that's ready to with the. Since I came in, it made my name a name brand. French. Paris clubbing like a caveman. We threw up the pyramids, now they say we Illuminati. I'm a tsunami.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
No blood diamonds, I rock gold like a king. Jury so cold, made them blow the nose off the Sphinx. You think I'ma be some type of role model? I go full throttle, desperado, that's the motto. Vic in Chicago is Hugh Hef at the grotto. Brazilian model, she mean mugging like Frida Kahlo. Drinking it with an Alicia Machado. I'm the ticket, you just hit the lotto. Pulling up with the crew.
Oh my goodness.
Must have done same with the roof.
Oh my goodness.
You sitting looking stupid on the stoop.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Take notes if I were you.
Oh my goodness.
This was designed with the star.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
We know true north.
Oh my goodness.
Smiling.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Oh my goodness.
The law, it's a shame, rhyme. Young Vic the diamonds, finest. I shine like puff shine. Shines if I sign to the rock, cause I'm timeless. Top off the Mozzie, my behavior is mindless. On kids, we major, you mindless. Fresh out the cell to the booth. Drop the roof, I'm still in the hood, tell.
The Jets are now on the clock.
Club, the judge, you rappers is false flagging, you a fashion. What's cuz, what you know about? What's Velo? Why Barry Lee, your head ringing? Free Vic Mensa, I'm a star, chain swinging. This that music, you can blame Reagan. I'm ball mayin' without paying, y'all playing, we playing. My Himalayan, the lotto.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Season cam, no matter, blam. Pulling up with the crew.
Oh my goodness.
Must have done same with the roof.
Oh my goodness.
You sitting looking stupid on the stoop.
Oh my goodness.
I would take notes if I were you.
Oh my goodness.
This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north.
Oh my goodness.
Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The law, it's a shame, rhyme, crime.
Every other night I'm outside with the. You ain't got chips. The world.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
The next man's girl sounds harsh, but they been ripped apart. My world, the way Kiss told it should never be misquoted. The that you wave on the camera, we been toting. Selling love potion my whole rap career, so your streams and downloads could never match the kids. We could go foreign until it's boring. My sheep will keep jumping the fence until you're snoring. Street poetry, I'm more Wale for Lauren. Till the world is mine like Illmatic and Lauren. Written on
the Dolphins are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Got the right numbers on it. Burn the Carter down like I'm Nino.
Pulling up with the crew.
Oh my goodness.
Must have done same with the roof.
Oh my goodness.
You sitting looking stupid on the stoop.
Oh my goodness.
I would take notes if I were you.
Oh my goodness.
This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. The law, it's a shame. Rhyme.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
No Harvard, but I was a scholar. Hard knocks, and I learned to be smarter. Don't prefer to be bothered. You get if I order. That's word to my father. I will for my mother. Deal with my brothers. Keep it real.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Plus I duck.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Mission. Got a vision that's endless. They told me don't be a menace. They gon' serve me a sentence. But now I'm up in the illest that did it. Get the cream look. Drop it in the give about opinions. I'm just minding my business. If I'm grinding, I'm shining. Don't got time for the gimmicks. I'm it. Squad. 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 I'm it.
The Colts are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock.
Okay, now we back to square one. It's hard to square up.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Come, mama cries, dead sons, Lord please bless them. Back to the party, I'm just pouring my. Don't get face step before, so I live it up. When a come, better get them up. That's a floss track, better get them up. I'ma keep eating this a dinner rush. I'll let you finish up. Block of diamonds, I can promise I'm being honest. This being modest. I am your highness. I am the finest. You rappers, plus you a liar.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
I'm a better me, more clever. It's a new.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
We surfing, baby, new age. That's a certain, baby. Let's take a ride. Put your for the ones that die. It's vows tonight. Just you and I get lost tonight and lose your mind. Squad, I'm it. 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 Squad.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Squad. I'm it.
The Lions are now on the clock.
I'm it.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock.
Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Put my problems in them. Only check up when the checks come. My pockets looking blessed up. All the talking never stressed us.
The Bills are now on the clock.
They talking like they never love me. They talking like they next door. I still treat them like so. Showers on the way. I've been working 25 hours every day. Pull up with the bands, having dancing in the rain. Pull up with the bands, have 'em dancing in the rain.
The Saints are now on the clock.
Yeah, know your place, yeah. I got look like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to get me. I still wish it would. I still
The 49ers are now on the clock.
know your place, yeah. Know your place, yeah. I got look like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to get me. I still wish it would. I still wish I'm well, yeah. Promises and wishes, candles for my exes now. Ain't no fingers let to count my blessing now. Promises and wishes, trust me, it's been different now. No rings for the things I go missing now. Promises and wishes.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Celebrating. How would I ever start celebrating? I'm naming all the hearts I've been breaking. I'm naming all the hearts I've been breaking. The showers on the way. I've been working 25 hours every day. Pull up with the bands, have 'em dancing in the rain. Pull up with the bands, have 'em dancing in the rain. Yo. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got
The 49ers are now on the clock.
I got women on the cell trying to get me. I still wish it would. I still wish I'm well, yeah. Know your place, yeah. Know your place, yeah. I got like right now. I'm impatient. I got women on the.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
I still wish it would. I still wish I'm well, yeah.
Our very own Adam Schefter has more to say about this pick.
Coming into the season, several scouts had him ranked as the top linebacker prospect entering the draft, and what followed was a flurry of media attention. The constant distractions looked to have taken their toll on him as he struggled to put together consecutive strong performances throughout the entire season. This inconsistency had him all over the experts' draft boards on a week-to-week basis. Even Todd McShay wasn't immune to the ranking roller coaster, having him anywhere from the number 2 to the number 10 linebacker available. This pick will be looked at as a bit of a gamble until he's able to prove he has the mentality it takes to turn in great performances on a week-to-week basis.
The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock.
Vince, the car's outside.
The Rams are now on the clock.
I can't miss my flight and miss you too. Boo, first class seats is overrated. Won't go, let's stay overpaid.
The Jets are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock.
Is all I need, all I need, all I need. Move your body if you came here to party. If not, then pardon me. How I'm supposed to have a good time with death and destruction's all I see. Out the sight, I'm out in my mind. The sound of sunshine is calling me. Good vibrations is all I need, all I need, all I need. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, move.
The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock.
Picture me putting my city all over the map. They wasn't believers, I had to get even in mad. We coming up pulling up.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Set up that I'm in the bank and I want on my 50s in cash. I'm tired of living check to check.
The Saints are now on the clock.
Smiling in my grave, fresh to death. I've been Wu-Tang with a spectral deck. Yeah, I got that I gotta just get off my chest. I cannot miss it, got last on my list and you next. Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, but I think I might just skirt off.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Go to church with my shirt off. Tell the Lord that I'm here now. I've been waiting for so long. I've been patient for so long. Breaking rules like there's no laws, and I did it for a long time. If you don't like me, take a ticket. There's a long line. Nice to meet me. I think the pleasure's all mine. They've been clocking me so long, I think they lost time. Ooh, you lost. What you mean? Woo! What you mean? Woo! And now just a so what you mean?
The Rams are now on the clock.
Hold up. Whoa.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Don't know what you think it compare me to. Adrenaline popping, the blood will be leaking and running. Yeah. I do what I do, I don't care if you like it or love it. Tell all of my I got a new girl. Wait. You tell the that I'm in the bank and I want my money in hundreds. I'm tired of living on the edge. I want it. They gon' call the feds. I just bought a cost an arm and leg. My mama told me take it back and get a job instead. Where's your common sense? Me and the devil got too much in common, I swear. Yeah. Born in the ghetto, I never had nothing to fear.
Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, so I might just throw a hissy fit. Call up Cassie after she broke up with Diddy, yeah. I told Shorty, if she talking, and she gon' call her friends up and we did, whoa. I ain't in the talking, go chop off your lips. If I ain't in your top 10, go top 4 for bridge. My black boys, I boys that knock off your lid. I dot your...
The 49ers are now on the clock.
What you mean? Woo! I said, what you mean? Woo! Listen, I don't trust her soul. No, I said, what you...
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I said, what you mean? Woo!
You thought it was finished. You thought it was over.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
I'm still as ill as considered as one of the coldest. Still a put a partner rapper here like Moses. I'm throwback like a molar roller. I'm cool.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Flag board, truck soldier. I'm cool with laws and Ayatollahs. Rap guard, Cyclops and Ogre. I'm King Kong, ain't nobody told you. You think road still. And Bobby Brown about to go get. Paul McCartney, I'm rich. I'm Muhammad Ali, I talk. I'm James Brown, about to tear down this. I'm Michael Jackson, them bad as bad, gon' get it. What you mean?
Adam, what can you tell us about the Bengals' newest player?
Prospects can't take any risks before the draft, as many consider it to be one of the most important off seasons of their careers. Unfortunately, he's an example of what not to do when he suffered an injury playing a casual game of pickup basketball. Here's the catch. It was the week before the Combine. Needless to say, he couldn't participate and lost out on a big opportunity to impress scouts. Fortunately, he still landed on a team, but it's still a lesson to all the young players out there to be smart before the draft.
Sounds fruity. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe. Just let me breathe for a minute.
The Packers are now on the clock.
Breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe. It's too hot, drop the top off the wagon. Lay back, fire like dragon. Man, I'm flying past Saturn. Out of here like I ain't that savage. Two. It's like I'm at the studio with Michael. You can hear me dancing on the beat. Been about to put a mansion on the beach. 100 Latins in your lobby. That's what happens when you.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
And I put that my mommy. I will never give my heart to a I can just make a dance that goes with this song. Then I'ma be on. Basic, gon' dance to it. Basic, everywhere, gon' dance to it. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it. Let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute, man.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
White Range Rover, ball in it. You gotta, baby, shake that, shake that, shake that. You gotta.
The Vikings are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock.
To pitch another, throwing alley-oops to my brothers. We all shine, nobody victims. I'm on these sweatsuits, black Pippins. I swag different. That's why the money in the bag different. Come up short, you have your fam. I lay on.
The Jets are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock.
Every day, get ride around Queens on the jet ski. It's me. Every day, get to the day I die. Every day, get man, I that. And I.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Nearly broke. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Let me breathe for a minute.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover. In it.
The Panthers are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock.
Polo to the flow though. You already know though. It's Adamville for real. You see ya, just take a photo. I'm reppin' as on photo with a on your brodo. Cause that Jodo thought that he could rob a player for some dodo. Oh no, I'm so Allen Temple. I'm so England Mountain. I'm so Misty Valley. And I got a couple yesterday out of Cali. And my bag from the valley bought me brand new balance. And I'm playing with a no American dream, dusty roll. Man, she been riding since her daddy rode on roll. I done in every hole, telling every I ain't with my wife, but if she meet her, might be a go. Rick flat flashy. Don't I look dashy? Don't I look classy? Don't act so sassy. I'm the man, boo. That's with or without you. With what your say. Show me what that.
I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it lonely at the top, but this the best. Hey, don't you see me out here shining, barely flexing? I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it lonely at the top, but this the best. And even if we die today, gon' live forever. Live forever.
Daddy pants ain't with 3 X's. Take the X's, no X's on my chest, but all these diamonds got me blessed. Usually I don't do this. Dumb it down, go stupid. Since 17, been counting M's, my bank accounts on goofy. They say gave up. Now who know what the truth is? Chicago full of my garage is full of hoopers. Got that southern drawl and all that. My like ball bags. The South got something to say, and all y'all can't get y'all ball back. If I ain't a hot boy, then what do you call sacks? Daddy fat, y'all never ball back. Like clocks in the wintertime, we stay eating like it's dinner time. Been feasting and feasting big, but it ain't no rhyme. We don't know the meaning of drought, cause we keep it so wet. Why swear now, it's been a while. Just speaking in general, boy, there is no formidable opponent or at that bone that you never step on it. When you wanna mind the kind of give it hope when they down and out. Dig a hole so deep, ain't no climbing out. Watch.
Yeah, I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it lonely at the top, but this the best. Don't you see me out here shining, barely flexing? I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it lonely at the top, this the best. And even if we die today, don't live forever. Live forever.
Yo, listen, just like I told Coco, my vision is you already know though. So go slow, back my logo, for show, Coco, get down on the. Yo, listen, just like I told Coco, my vision is you already know though. So go slow, back my logo, for show, Coco, now get down on that.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this, and born like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this with new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate. Then off your head. This that put the kids to bed. This that I got realness. I just killed this cause it's in my DNA. I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA. I got dark, I got evil that rot inside my DNA. I got I just win again, then win again like Wimbledon I serve. Yeah, that's him again. The sound that engine in is like a bird. You see fireworks and Corvette tires skirt the boulevard. I know how you work. I know just who you are. See, use a. Your hormones probably switch inside your DNA. Problem is, all that inside your DNA. Daddy probably snitch. Heritage inside your DNA. Backbone don't exist. Born on side a jellyfish, I gauge. See my pedigree, most definitely don't tolerate the front. Like been through, probably offend you. This is Paula's oldest son. I know conviction, burners, boosters, ballers, dead, redemption, scholars, fathers, kids, and I wish I was fed forgiveness. Yeah. Soldier's DNA, born inside the beast. My expertise checked out in second grade. When I was 9, on sale motel, we didn't have nowhere to stay. At 29, I've done so well, hit cartwheel in my estate. And I'm gon' shine like I'm supposed to. Antisocial extrovert, and excellent meaning extra work. And absentness, you hurt. And passiveness never struck my nerve. And that's a riff gonna plead this case. The reason my power's here on earth. Salute the truth from the prophecy. I got loyalty, got royalty inside
this is
my
why
DNA.
I say that hip-hop has done more damage to young African Americans in recent years.
I live about my DNA. This is my heritage, all I'm inheriting. Money and power, the maker emeritus. Tell me something, you can't tell me nothing. I'd rather do than to listen to you. My DNA not for imitation. Your DNA an abomination. This how it is when you in the matrix, dodging bullets, reaping what you're sowing, stacking up the footage, living on the go and sleeping in the villa, sipping from a Grammy, walking in the building, diamond in the ceiling, marble on the floors, beaches out the window, peeking out the window, baby in the pool, Godfather goes, only Lord knows, I've been going hammer, dodging paparazzi, through the cameras, eating $4, Brock wearing sandals, yoga on a Monday, stretching till November, watching all the snakes, curving all the fakes, phone never own, I don't conversate, I don't compromise, I just penetrate, money, these are the breaks, these are the times, level number 9, look up in the sky, tennis on the way, sentence on the way, I got winners on the way. You ain't without a on your belt. You ain't without a ticket on your plate. You ain't sick enough to pull it on yourself. You ain't rich enough to hit the ladder skate. Tell me when destruction gonna be my fate. Gonna be a fate, gonna be a fate. Peace to the world, let it rotate. Money, DNA.
You know, I'm like, yeah, nice P, you know?
What up, Pig?
Man.
La música de Harry Fry.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Man, you don't want with them, bro. Oh, you, and it better get low. Extorting, you ain't got no friends. Oh, they'll be wear that like a Chanel scarf like rainbow. $1,000, this ain't your cloth. You ain't, that ain't no sauce. I can see the noodles made for poodles. I'm thinking about the LaFerrari coupe. 1.8, the option is the roof. Greens is a secret to the youth. Your goals are malnourished. Please spit the juice. Y'all be vaping, I be maiden. Yes, y'all be aping. I'm Richard Mill Nation. No diamonds, just tourbillon facing with gears and sprockets with the sapphire casing.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Here's a little story about a kid from Morocco. Had to show Carlito I was Benny Blanco. Check it out. Raindrop, offset. Plug, need an outlet. Try to put me in the box. I'm in the box off. All the face shorty, socks off. Mac Miller, Reggie Miller, the killer, Canaries, back stiller, white villa, French vanilla, garage like a kill himself. Lauren Hill, get up. Crib Calabasas on the hill. I had a morning plate. Beatles on the red carpet. Alcatraz bars, crash cars, ain't no future in front. My homies rip your mask off.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Rather you than me. If you've been with me from Port of Miami, it's been a journey. Ain't nothing changed. A little stronger, a little wiser. Maybe a little more. Blame it on America. I'm pulling off the lot, I bought the cash. Whoa. Her future bright, don't give nobody bad. Whoa. We looking good inside the whoa. But I noticed that she missing all the edges. Whoa. I run the game just by running with the whoa. Poor attitude, they got rich calisthenics. Whoa. Walking in the courtroom, sipping on the beverage. Whoa. I know the judge, so I got a lot of leverage. This a fetish. Fully loaded on the 7. Your dog get a dab, you never wrote a letter. Whoa. Still in the box, got a rapping acapella. Whoa. Kim Treasure people with the weapon. Whoa. I got it, boy, don't make me be the devil. Whoa. He knocking on the door and know the password. Gave me his blessings while I'm hotter than the last verse.
Dead president, dead president. Dead president, dead president.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Dead president, dead president. Dead president, dead president.
Feds. Let's go, I'm innocent.
I got that in like Tommy Lee. I make money. On my third passport, in them, I got at the airport. I got bowling green dollars on my dollars. Busting down 100 in the bathtub. Get some house shoes. I got money. I got war wounds. Get the coaching on that. Ain't no dance moves. I was posted on the stoop, hanging with my Haitians. On the news, on front pages. Ain't no relations. I was stacking being friends and bossing. 2 times in a row, that's a repeat. You in the cause they easy. I'm in the freezy. She love me like she need me. I got my Maybach flooded out with extra TVs. I make up every single day. I judge a vulture when I flip the Paddock face.
Dead president, dead president. Dead president, dead president.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Dead president, dead president. Dead president, dead president.
Feds. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Hands on me, got the yellow brace. Check off in my pocket like the yellow paste. Was what I was asking. Low facility, I keep it classy. Build an empire, yeah, that was my state of mind. Yeah, that was my state of mind. Keep the blocks over there, we call it Lego Land. Meanwhile, it's like it's Amsterdam. Boy fresh, you know who got the tropes. 16 when I bought my first rollie. Legend in my hood, just like I'm never ride in the extra car. Dead president, dead president. Dead president, dead president.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Dead president, dead president. Dead president, dead president.
Feds. Let's go, I'm innocent.
I done came up, bustin' down the whole broke, it's that bag. Want your people swag. You ain't even gotta ask. What are those? What is that? Please don't touch my rap. Please don't touch my rap.
I'm racked up like rappers. I'm wrapped up on camera. Get out on camera. Squeeze like asthma. It's rare wrath when I wear wrath. Bear wrath when I wear wrath. Might invest into some rap shit. Lord, still shit wrath.
And I'm dripping on rags. Rick gonna be the tag. Do the digital dash. Yeah, I'm boasting, never brag. Please don't touch my rap. Or the Chris Van Nash. Alessandra Gucci glasses. The W Anderson collab. Yeah, you probably like it. Yeah, you drop it on the. I'ma buy another. Cause boys bring it back. Yeah, you know how to make it last. Plus and keeping tabs. I'ma fly first class. Quavo hit him with it. Please don't touch my rap.
Don't step on my Ralph Simmons. Don't step on my Ralph Simmons. Don't step on my Ralph Simmons. Do you know how much I'm spending? My closet is worth about $1 million. To the little out the runway. In the kitchen. Ralph Simmons. All kind of crazy colors. Living color. Left wrist. Roll it. Ice. Mason Margiela, my sweater. Mama told me never settle. Ralph Simmons, don't lace him. Got your wanna.
Huh? What? Don't wanna talk about the paper. I swear to God, these be haters. They be hating, I feel out of. Live in cul-de-sac, don't get along. Ooh, right with my neighbors. Diamonds on my neck and roll it on. Now a later got underbit flavors. I'm with my lifesaver. Ooh, feel like Darth Vader. I'm a boss, you know I might riff it. Ooh, right in my basement. Yeah. But you know that I'm gon' face it. Wait, that's the reason that they mad. Color Uzi, yeah, he made it. Yeah, I would have rap for I made it. Yeah, I would have rap for I made it. Yeah, got that rap all in my basement. Yeah, once I got patience. Yeah, I'm famous. Yeah, put myself inside Marc Jacob. Hey, making no place with my label. I get it, I count it. 100 on my table.
Sterling silver laces. Rubies red, my skin too black to blush, too red to tint, not pages. This ain't on the wizard up. Pockets full of mint leaves. Been smelling like it brushed tea. Say cheese, see the porcelain. Water, see backwoods. Raft dragging on the floor. In it. I'm torching the road in these Gucci flames. Stuck to the pavement, they glued. I'm 2.5 million in the venue and 2,500 a tube. I'm cold like I'm sick with the flu. I cover my face and I'm spring summer 2002.
Yeah, please don't touch my ride. In the grass, Teddy, with the Teddy. Quick with the hands ready. Please don't touch my ride. Shirt off, I'm Cam, ready. That's stock in memory. Please don't pop my tie.
Man, too broke to pay attention. Man. Yeah. Man, listen. All I got is this ambition. A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. I'm like, man, listen. All I got is this ambition. A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. The game is friendless, the pain is endless. The game changed, I blame these lame pretenders. My friends and Benzes parked at the entrance. Inside, you still hear the engine. Like, ren, this is your ending. If you're offended, I dare you defend it. This is rushing through my blood like the Kremlin. I'm back with a vengeance. And this is what the sound of revenge is. Win-win, man, listen. All I got is this ambition. A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. I'm like, man, listen. All I got is this ambition. A couple million make you stand different. They dropped the ball and so I ran with it. Where I come from, you can't visit. I talk money, I guess you understand different. Hand gestures counting till my hands blister. You can't miss us louder than Fran Drescher. Pinky rings, hand kisses, soprano. I feel like Paulie Castellano in designer stitches. I heard him say I made Rihanna. Mind your business, what kind of honor is this? I'm trying to see Madonna, all kind of riches. In Miami,